Hello, hello. This is Carla Michelle, and it's such an honor to have you tune in the first. No, it's not that. Well, it's the first recording of the new year, but it's also the fourth season of the Strong Network podcast. Oh my gosh. I remember when I started this, and who knew I'd be 4 seasons in, but I'm excited and I love the growth. I love the impact. I love the feedback. I appreciate you all for sharing your impact and what you like about this podcast and how helpful you have found it. I would ask you continually to take the time and rate us 5 stars in your iTunes or wherever you're able to rate this podcast, and let us know how you are loving the experience, and tell us even what topics you would like to hear. So once again, thank you for pushing play. It's so important, and I am glad you are listening, and I'm glad you are sharing. Well, let's get right to it. Wow. So here we are with many, many days before us, many, many opportunities, no matter where we are, no matter where you're listening to this, whether you're listening to this at the beginning of the year in which I'm recording it, or in the middle of the year, or at the end of this year. Can you believe it? It'll go so fast. Mind you, I record and my windows are open and I am on a main street. So if you hear anything in the background, I do apologize, but there is, our lovely fire department is going by and saving someone's life. So, we got to respect that. And there they go. And I should probably close my windows, but hopefully I'm really trying to get some fresh air in. I've been inside all day and cleaning out closets and old paperwork and getting things ready for the year. I just came off of just taking some time off. That's a whole nother story. Have you ever, let's just talk about this for a minute. So my goal is always to just be off the whole month of December. And it was fine. It wasn't the whole month, but it was a good chunk of it. I do a morning meditation called Mind Reset Meditation with me, Carla Michelle. And that is in the morning, which we had a break since December 17th. And we're starting again January 17th. So that was, put on hold for now. And then I had that time where, even though I wake up still, it's just the responsibility, because I do make it, it is my plan and my purpose to always show up every morning, Monday through Friday, and lead the group in a 10-minute meditation. And boy, the reports that we're getting from that, I think it's so great. So avail yourself if you have not already. Make sure you reach out to me at hello@drcarlainc.com. Hello, drcarlainc.com. hello@drcarlainc.com. And I will send you the information to sign up. It is membership involved. It's $30 for the month, and that's Monday through Friday, rain or shine, at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 6:40. I have people from all the coast signing in. There are some people who are at the office, or, many are working from home, but they'll stop their day, get in for that 10 minutes, and it's really 10 minutes, and sign right off and go into their meetings or whatever it takes. I have heard that it helps them have a better day in their meetings, with their families, with their kids, with their spouses, with interacting with others, because they took care of themselves first. So I look forward to you joining me anytime. It's always open to join in. But hello@drcarlainc.com, and we'll make sure to get that information to you. So I'm back to talking about the time off and resting. I think rest is an action word, because it took work to rest. It took work to tell myself to not feel guilty because I'm relaxing or I'm not waking up. Or if I'm waking up, I'm getting right back in the bed. I just took it as easy as I could, and laying in the bed, getting back in the bed, taking naps, going to bed early. I have to tell you, I watched a lot of television, a lot of Christmas shows. I love those because they're all like cute and romantic and, very positive time. The stuff that they show on television. So I availed myself to that. But it was interesting to talk myself out of the guilt of what I was feeling about laying down. There were a couple of days I did get up and did work, talk to a client or two, but it wasn't anything. I felt okay with just resting after a while. I think this last week between Christmas and New Year, I finally felt like I could rest. Like it didn't bother me. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't even exercise that much. I literally would roll on the floor and do some sit-ups and things like that with some weights that I have, but it was very minimal. But I'm excited that tomorrow is a Monday. While you're hearing it's going to be Monday, but I'm recording this on Sunday night, the 2nd. But I get to wake up and go to the gym, go for a run, something to just get my body back in there, get my water back in there. All this festive things that I am not even complaining about, that I got to experience, the parties, the food, the drink, all of it. I enjoyed myself, and there is no shame, and I will not shame myself and be like, I shouldn't. No, I chose everything that I wanted to do. I enjoyed it. No regrets. Body, you line up with where we're going. And that's what we're going to do tomorrow. So I want to go in and just talk about, what do you have? What's your formula? What's your formula that works for the year? What is it that you know that you have a formula that is going to just max out your month, max out the next 90 days, the 6 months, the year? What is your formula for winning? My formula for winning is strong. Strong, if you have been listening in any of these seasons, you understand that STRONG is an acronym for a methodology that I love to use for myself first, and then also with my clients. I may not always point it out with my clients that I'm using this formula or method, but it is definitely something I pull on, especially when I do the group coaching for I want to pull on strategies, talents, resilience, optimism being necessary and going global. It's very important. But that is my formula. And that's the formula until something comes up different, I am going to be using this year again. And how am I doing that? Because I'm going over, when it comes to the S of STRONG, strategy, I'm going over where and what strategy worked before and what worked and what do I want to keep as I move forward. So my formula, how I have sat down with myself, is find out what strategy, what got me wins. What got me wins in 2021? Where did I win? What worked for me? What presented the best outcome? So it was my strategy to sit with that and discover what I want to move forward and how I want to strategize in the future. Am I building on something that I've already started? Am I strategically clearing the slate and rewriting the way that I want to show up in 2022? So that is my strategy time. Like, how am I coming forth into what I'm doing now? How does it work into what I'm doing right now? So strategy is important. And actually, if you hear me moving around, I am going to find my book, The Strong Woman's Playbook, Become Your Greatness, which is available on Amazon. And if you haven't gotten it, you should. It's a great read. It is on Amazon under Carla Michelle. It's The Strong Woman's Playbook, Become Your Greatness. But I was thinking it was about strategy and being strategic. Now, I'm going to read something from The Art of War, and it says, now the general who wins a battle makes many calculations in his temple where the battle is fought. The general who loses a battle but few Wait, I'm sorry. The general who loses a battle makes but few calculations beforehand. Did you hear that? The general who loses a battle makes but few calculations beforehand. So before he went into battle, the loser, he didn't even take the time to calculate the next plan. So thus do many calculations lead to victory, and a few calculations to defeat. So strategy. You're not making a strategy for this year, even if it's one or two things. You are guaranteed to get a win when you strategize about it. But when you're not putting anything in motion or anything that your footsteps would want to follow because there is no strategy. You're kind of living haphazard, which this is why I wrote this book, because me understanding that I needed to be strategic in my career, in my education, in my relationships with people. And I don't mean strategic like, you better serve me, something that work, not that way. I mean strategic and making sure I am showing up as I would need to show up in relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, business relationships. How do I need to show up? And what I am requiring from others, am I doing it myself? So that's the strategy that I'm talking about. Strategy in saving money, strategy in being strategic in how I invest, being strategic in my purchases, being strategic of where I live and what I do, being, strategic as a parent. How much more, reading again, how much more, no calculations at all. So let me just start over. Thus do many calculations lead to a victory and few calculations to defeat. How much more, no calculations at all. It is my attention to this point that I can foresee who is likely to win or lose. And that is taken from the book, The Art of War. I can tell if my clients are ready to win or to lose by how they strategize, how we strategize, and how they follow through with a strategy that we have discussed and committed to. So if you don't have anything, if you're not doing anything, change it to you having something and you doing something. But it is definitely important that you are aware of actions and the results that you want from your life. So sit down with you and ask yourself, what do I want from my life this year? Okay, if that's too much, what do you want from your life this month, this week, every morning? What do I want from my life today? Alrighty? So you got to remember, this is something I say in my book, changing your position in life is not a haphazard move. It is an intentional move that requires thought. Life can be viewed as one long war from birth to death. Can somebody see what I'm saying there? I ask that you consider life as a series of battles that possibly can be avoided. This thought ties into Sun Tzu, the general of Chinese army, on the benefits of giving as much thought as possible to your next steps. Steps in life that can deliver victory on every front in order to avoid entering battles of the mind or deed. So there's things when we strategize, it's so important that we understand with the strategy, and you want to, because one of the R is resiliency. When you have a strategy, you're able to be more resilient when things come at you because you have a strategy. When you go to war, just make it all so deep. When you go to war in your life, when you go to war for your dreams, when you go to war for your goals, when you go to war for how you want to show up in a relationship, you have to have a strategy of how you're doing that. Let's take a relationship, for example. If you want to start showing up more secure in your relationship, you need to have a strategy of how you're going to dispel insecurities that come up. Your insecurities may have been formed from the hurt and the pain that you've experienced in the past. But now your goal is to have a relationship that is healthy, that is understanding, that communicates, that is lovely, that is all the good stuff you see that you're going to bring to a relationship. Many times we always focus, many times we focus on what someone's going to do for us. Grand. But what they are doing, what you want them to do for you, are you able to do for them? What you want them to do for you, will you be doing it for them? So we can ask for all this and we can want some things in our relationship, but are we also willing to have a strategy of how we're going to bring it into the relationship? All right. So let's move to the T, talent. What is your talent? Many people say, I don't know. I tell you, coaching, whether one-on-one or in group setting, I think that when you ask people what your talent is, they hesitate. And then I have to re-ask the question, what has someone noticed about you that they have applauded you on and given you praise over that you do well? Then that helps open up the door for them to speak about their talent of what someone else has told them about themselves. But what a wonderful day. What a wonderful way if you understand your talents without ever being told. That's powerful. That you do not have to wait for someone to co-sign or to put value on it before you acknowledge that it's a talent. And there's many times that you can have a talent that it can be the very door to monetizing that, that door of bringing in the financials that you're looking to have, or the impact that you're looking to have, or the reach that you're wanting, is because you tap into your talent. And usually your talent will make room for you. That is a Bible scripture, but it'll make room for you and bring you before great men, bring you before great people. And when a talent brings you before great people, there's many opportunities to put value on that talent. That means to monetize it in some form or fashion. So with your talent, it's so important that first you recognize your talent. What is your natural skill? What is something that you love to do? Is it cooking? Is it cleaning? Is it writing? Is it speaking? Is it coaching? Is it maybe you don't want your own business, but you love working for somebody and you're very good at handling the details for someone else's company. You're helping a company scale. You're helping a company see the value that they bring to the community that they're looking to reach. What is your talent? And then knowing that's your talent and then putting a value on that talent. So if you're choosing to work for someone, do they pay you equal to the value that you bring? When you have a talent or a skill and you're working on it for yourself, are you asking people to invest in you according to the value that you bring to them? I coach coaches, and one of the things that I see as a hiccup for them is pricing and what their price will be, and will someone pay it? That's the question they have. Well, will someone pay that? Well, do you bring value that represents this? Then if you bring something that represents what you're asking to be invested in, then there's no problem. And so then we also will work on what they're presenting. What are they bringing? Who are you? I will go over their experience. I will go over their wins. I would go over if they've coaching, they usually coach someone. We go over, did they get a victory? Did you see someone? Did you see change? So I have to go over and Remind them of their skills, remind them of their talents, remind them of their passion for what they do. So formula is strategize and then recognize your talent. And if you've heard me, you have heard this before, and I am saying it again for this new year, to understand the formula that has worked for me, and I believe, well, I know will work for you if it is applied. Resilience. Oh my gosh. Resilience. How many people just like, I'm tired of being resilient, right? We've had so much going on in our lives, in our businesses, in our jobs, and resilience is necessary. Resilience. I love to say this, when it looks like it's over, it's really just begun. When it looks like it's over, it's really just begun. If you're at that point and it's still just been rough, when it looks like it can't go over, really, it's just begun. It's just giving. More is coming for you. More is happening for you. Remain optimistic. Remain resilient. Keep showing up. Here's my lovely fire department going by. It's been very busy lately. I do hear an alarm going off somewhere. Anyway, enough of that. Resilience. Well, let's do this. I'm going to take from my chapter, let's see, that's 3, and resilience on page 24 if you have the book. Resilient, a word that speaks to the strength and determination of the mind and will of a person. It can be identified by how quick you are able to bounce back. Resilience is displayed by the person who has been exposed to highly disruptive event, yet with time taps into their inner strength and continues to thrive. Regardless of what happens, is able to tap into inner strength and continues to thrive. There are people who are going through many difficult situations and are still able to be successful. It is because their mind is on the strategy and not the mess. Their mind is on their strategy and not their mess. When my clients focus more on the mess, what's messy, what they're trying to fix, what's not going right, it is harder to stay focused and remain resilient. You want to give up. But when you know that you're going to thrive no matter what, that you truly believe that you have the solution to every problem that you face. You have the solution within you for every problem, for every problem that you face. You do. And how do you find out? It's in that quiet time. Is in that time of prayer, in that time of meditation, in that time of reading. Resiliency doesn't just become there when you just say, I'm going to be resilient. Well, it does. But then you wear out really quick. Resilience needs to be fed. You need to feed resilience. What do you mean? Feed it with a routine that keeps you resilient. Do you know when you get sick and you get the doctor may prescribe an antibody that will help you get over a cold faster? The routine is take this 2 pills 3 times a day until the bottle is empty. It's antibiotic. Antibiotic. 2 pills 3 times. That's the routine. What is your routine when you're depressed? What are you doing? What is your routine when money is light and you're nervous? What are you doing? What's your routine? What's your routine when you feel alone? What's your routine? What's your routine when you can't see yourself? It's just so much going on. There's so much on you that it's a good day. It's a good day, but there's so much pressing on you. What is your routine that keeps you going? You need a routine that helps you keep going. So, for instance, My lovely time off, my quiet time, my rest time, these last couple of weeks. Do you know I had the most negative thoughts coming at me when I was resting? And I was like, dang. But you know what I also figured out? My routine changed. I wasn't meditating as much as I was. I mean, I was saying quick prayers. What I was watching on the TV, even though there was some holiday things, but it was other stuff that I watched that kind of just took from me, you know? It just kind of depleted me. You know, when you're watching a whole bunch of killing and murder and negative and backstabbing on TV. Now, this was good. I mean, I was enjoying it, but I felt it taking a toll on me. So my routine, after a while, I needed to just, I don't care if I was still resting. I use an app called Think Up, and I recorded affirmations, and I started to put that on when I'm brushing my teeth. 15 minutes, I just would put it on a timer, and I would listen to it over and over while I'm getting dressed in the morning, brushing my teeth, washing my face, and things like that. Just to feed my soul and feed my mind with a routine that helped me be resilient, because you can think you can make it, but if you're not with a routine that keeps you going, it's harder to make it. So make sure with resilience, you need to feed it with a routine that feeds you so that you can keep being resilient. And the reason why we get tired a lot, because we're running on empty. So is your routine fulfilling you? Is it meeting a need? One day I just woke up in a funk, and I was like, okay, I need something positive. So I'll watch something on YouTube, or I'll listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to my podcast, or, something. I needed something deposited in me. And my daughter called me, and I was like, oh, hey, so good to talk to you. I said, and she was like, oh, I'm going to come by. And I was like, that's great, because I need some positivity, She goes, yeah, okay. And so it was so nice to have a conversation based around some positive things and aspirations that she has. And in fact, she is hosting 20-somethings. It's Love Yourself. It's a one day kind of it's a couple of hour kind of conference for 20-somethings, and helping them with love and loving yourself and relationships. So I'm really excited that came out of that conversation of me just needing something positive. It was great to hear her goals and aspirations. And that was something in my routine to help me stay resilient, to help me remember the impact I make, to help me to be encouraged to keep going. Just because I do it and I encourage others and I'm a coach does not mean that I can just do it without doing what needs to be done. And that is a routine of feeding my soul, my mind, my spirit, who I hang around, who I talk to, what I watch, what I eat, what I drink, what I'm around, how I exercise my body, how I move my body, what I say from my mouth, what I let go in my ear. That's a routine that works for me to help me stay resilient. All right. Optimism for that O in strong. Strategy, strategic for that S. Talent for the T, and resilience for that R. Optimism. I tell you, optimism to me is like gold. Man, optimism is like gold. You can change your whole day around. I mean, just thinking about resilience, my routine consists of optimism. My routine consists of feeding things to me, that help me have a better outlook on life. Because when you have a better outlook on life, you have a better life. When you have a better outlook on life, you have a better life. It's just what it is. It's just beyond just being positive. It really is about allowing my life to be as good as it possibly could be, and I'm not going to stand in the way of it being anything but good. Good. I can have a disagreement with someone, but that I refuse to let that interfere with the good that I want from my life, even the good that I want from the situation of the person I'm maybe having a disagreement with. The goal should always be is to not keep it in my mind, not letting it play over and over and over about what I could have said or what I should have done, or, all the stuff that happens, but to really truly believe in an optimistic way that all things work out for my good. That no weapon formed against me prospers, even if I am the weapon, right? But I'm very optimistic about allowing good things to happen to me every day of my life. Everywhere I go, I am provided for. I am praised. I am protected. There are things that I just have and want to say over my life, right? So optimistic, it is something that you have to allow. You have to allow yourself to be optimistic. People are scared. People are scared. I don't care how much money you make or how little you make, how big of a family or not, who you've touched or haven't, if you've impacted millions or no one, wherever you are, people are still scared to be optimistic because a lot of people think, when is the shoe going to drop? Instead of thinking, whatever I face, I have the solution. Whatever comes my way, I have every need met. And just saying that, man, maybe you can't see it in the natural, but just saying it, your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain's like, oh, everything's together? Oh, okay, cool. Well, I don't have to walk around depressed. I don't have to have this negative energy. I don't have to have a bummy day. I mean, things happen, but I'm telling you, when you remain optimistic, your bummy day will not be as heavy as it started. So optimism, page 36, is the escort to new levels of confidence in your future. Optimism is the escort to new levels of confidence in your future. Optimism is here to serve you. Let it escort you into healthy and loving relationships. Give it permission to move you out of emotional and financial despair and right into an experience that is assuring. Optimism stands at the door of your mind, waiting to be invited in. Optimism is gentle. It will not push you if you aren't ready. Optimism is patient. It understands that to be impactful, it should be trusted. You got to trust being optimistic. Do you know who hangs out with optimism? I asked this question in the Strong Woman's Playbook. Do you know who hangs out with optimism? Vulnerability. Your level of optimism coincides with the level of being open and receptive to the best possible experiences. Open and receptive to the best possible experiences. So optimism, being optimistic, it may feel scary to trust. It may be scary to give permission to be happy. It may be scary to allow yourself to have hope. But when you do it, you put yourself on a different level. You usher in new possibilities and opportunities. I still open my door in the morning. And when I forget it, it's in the afternoon. And sometimes I do it morning and afternoon. But I actually open my door. And I welcome in optimism and opportunities. Well, I welcome in opportunities. But I'm optimistic that opportunities will come. And opportunities want me. They're looking for me. They're searching for me. They know my name. Opportunities are paying me. Opportunities see me. I create my own opportunities. I mean, imagine this year you wake up every morning and opening your door, a window for opportunity to come in, right? Optimism is just important and necessary. I love this one. This is another one of when I do coaching, whether one-on-one and group, when I say, are you necessary? They've never experienced, it is something that they think about. They would say, I've never thought of myself as necessary. Well, every one of us is necessary. Every last one of us is necessary. Do we know it all the time? No, obviously, because there's many of us who've made choices that don't match with us understanding that we're necessary because of maybe how we were brought up, the experiences in our life, the lack of guidance growing up, the choices that we make. But if we understood that we were necessary, and necessary is not necessarily necessary, is not something that you just kind of like for the moment. Being necessary is a requirement. You are required. This is my formula. This is what helped me, be where I am right now, is to understand my formula, methodology of being strategic, understanding my talent, remaining resilient when it was tiring and hard and difficult. But I saw the big picture, and the optimism being optimistic helped me see the picture. Even as I close my eyes right now and I see myself, I see where I am and where I'm going. I saw myself here where I am right now, but I see myself bigger and whatever that means, but it's more. There's more out there. Am I grateful for what I've experienced and what I've overcome there was a time I didn't know where I was going to live. I was homeless. Thank God people opened up their door, but I didn't have my own home. There was a time I didn't work and I needed money, and I happened to answer an ad when I was taking classes at the local community college, and they hired me on the spot, and I was able to name my rate. That was a blessing, but that is because of the affirmations and the thing I affirmed myself. I would talk to myself, man, before I even started really during this time, I wasn't coaching anybody. I'd take a break from what I was doing prior to, which I was counseling people, and I was helping and doing events and giving out awards and doing great things. But during this period of time, I had to make some changes because I got out of focus and I lost my way and I didn't have a strategy, and I had to get one, and just seeing the process of it. But when I realized I was required, when I realized I was necessary, it changed the way I interacted with mess. It changed the way I interacted with things that didn't line up to where I was going. I got very, very strategic of what it meant for me to be where I know I can be, and what did I need to do to be where I could be impactful to those who I come in contact with. So understanding you're necessary is key. I'm going to read just the first paragraph, page 43. We need what you have. There's someone out there in this big wide world who needs your business, your voice, your creativity, your insight, whatever you can put in a blank, it's needed. You have more working for you than you have against you. Become great. Do great things. Accomplish your goals. You are necessary. You are a requirement. You are essential. You have the obligation because you're necessary, because you're a requirement, because you're essential, you have the obligation to show up. And I want you to show up with an attitude that reflects your indispensability. You're indispensable. This world needs you. There's someone waiting for you to rise up. There's someone waiting for you to show up in that office, in that business, on that stage, in that Zoom call. Speak up. Oh my gosh. I know that when my clients speak up and realize they're necessary, oh my gosh, I love it. I so love it. I do. I love it because then they start doing this, like they start winning sweatless victories. When they know they're a requirement, when they know they're necessary, it's like things just start rolling in, things start happening because they understand their value. They understand what they bring. And then people come forth and it's like a magnet when you know you're necessary, right? You can't do what you want to do, what you long to do, if you don't believe it's necessary. There is 1,000, a million podcasts out there. I know it. And maybe some of people are saying the same things or may say it whatever way they say it, and people may be drawn to them. It doesn't matter. I still have to show up on a podcast because I want to impact on this platform. I want to be impactful as a podcaster, as a coach, as a consultant, as a person who cares about how people show up in the world. Because I believe we overlook who we are and what we can do because there's so much telling us that we can't. There's so much making us feel like we're not worthy. And so, yes, I am necessary. I'm a requirement. This podcast to me is a requirement. Very important that you see that. Or how will you go and do what you want to do if you don't see it? Another thing about being necessary and that you're a requirement, it is also required that you be selfish, that you look out for yourself, right? That's part of your strategy is to look out for yourself. Self-care is awesome. Some people feel very selfish. I've been called selfish by people who got mad that I didn't make space for their agenda for my life. Yeah. I was called selfish because I didn't make space for someone else's agenda for my life. My lack of self-value allowed people to have space that they shouldn't have had. But when I worked on me, it closed the gap and I appeared more selfish, but I really wasn't. I was more focused on the strategy that I had in my life than I was on their strategy for my life. And if it appeared selfish, that's just how you define it. But it wasn't my definition of selfish because I'm very giving. I give things away, so I'm not selfish. I share. But it's funny when you do something for yourself, someone wants to define it as selfish. But what you're really doing is being good to yourself. What you're telling me is when you do it is that you see yourself. And seeing yourself is just once you understand yourself, you've defeated 90 very high 90s percent of the problems in this world if you see yourself. Imagine if you see yourself, how you show up different when you go into a meeting, when you see yourself, that you're not intimidated by who's in the room. Because you see yourself as necessary. A client, I shared this, I'm sure, in one of the other podcasts, going in a room with some very high profile people in their organization, and they would sit back and think, well, I shouldn't say anything because I'm the lowest on the totem pole. But through coaching, they're encouraged because it was their desire to speak up. And as a coach, I supported that and gave them tools and tips of how to do that and where to go and how to maneuver the conversations, how to maneuver into your input, how to show your value. Not, there's some people who say, just don't leave the room without saying nothing. Okay, that's great. But what are you saying? Let it be of value. It's not just the people who just repeat what someone else said just to be heard. No, that's some BS. Come on, y'all. Don't do that. Don't. Do you know how irritating that, if you're one of those people, do you know how irritating that is to the originator of the thought for you to come in behind them and repeat the thought like it was yours? It's irritating. Okay, I've experienced that. So I'm just, and I've heard not just me. It is very irritating. And so get your own thought. If anything, add to it. Add to the thought. Don't just say what's already been shared like it's some new revelation. No, it was just shared 10 minutes ago. What can you add to that? Can you level it up? Can you give a praise? Hey, Jim, hey, Lisa, that was a great idea, and I love that. I like to hear more. That's a great way to bring something to the table, your interest. So see yourself, be good to yourself, because you are necessary. And sometimes being necessary can be viewed as being selfish, because you're going to make sure your strategy that you have for yourself is being followed. Because you know it doesn't work for you anymore. And you know you need to change how you interact with that person. You know you need to stop having interaction with a certain people. Because the energy that you are around can get on you if it ain't right? And people are like, what do you mean? Well, sometimes you get around, you will find yourself that you become more like them more than they become more like you. So be mindful. Global. I love global. I think when it comes to being global, many people don't understand that they can. Many people don't understand that you don't understand how you can have a global impact. But you want to expand your impact. You want to think bigger is basically what I'm saying at this time and in my book is expand. Where can you expand? Where can you take up more space? When you when you have your strategy, when you understand your talents, when you are feeding your resiliency with optimism, when you understand and you're feeding your resiliency with knowing that you're a requirement, that you're necessary, you're going to expand your impact. You're going to show up more in meetings, in your organization, in your business, in your relationships. As a parent, you're going to show up. As an athlete, as a student, you'll show up. If you understand that you need a formula. Now, strong works for me. I hope it works for you. If you need to have your own formula, sit down and create your formula or go over the formula. What has worked for me in the past? In season 3, I ask a lot of questions to help you with where you're going, where you are, and where you want to do. I ask some prompting. I think there's 9 prompting questions that I ask. Like one of them is what worked for you. I also want to remind you that when you understand your wins, you naturally expand your impact because you understand how you won. A lot of us win, but we don't know the formula of how we won. Understand the formula of how you're getting a win. Many people win by investing in a coach. What is it though? I have people who have been with me for years, 3 years now, one in particular, and I've had people more than that, but I'm thinking of this person 3 years now, and it's ever growing, the relationship and the coaching experience, because they are growing. So they are growing, how we coach is growing. Their impact is growing. Man, the stuff they're doing now is not how we started. Yes, it was part of the dream and the goal and the vision and the strategy, but they're actually doing it. So your impact can expand when you have a formula. And I invite you to consider the strong formula: strategic, talented, resilient, optimistic, necessary, and global. All right. I wish you well. If you have questions, please reach out to me at hello@drcarlainc.com. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Miss Carla Michelle. I'm also on TikTok. But Miss Carla Michelle, and there I have in my bio, there is a link to everything, even signing up for meditation, for clarity coaching. You get 30 minutes of directions for next steps. We go over that. How that works is I send you a form that you're going to fill out, and I asked you a few questions that helps us when we do come together for that 30 minutes. We have something, I've already heard what you need, and we put an action plan together. So that clarity coaching is there, and I just appreciate you. Thank you for those who have been with me from the beginning since season 1, and you're still here now in season 4. I just believe the best for you. I want the best for you. Please reach out for any coaching needs. Make your appointments. Take advantage of my programs. Group coaching is there. And there's going to be, I am going to do another boot camp. That is going to be free, and do a little boot camp. Not a little, it's a boot camp, and get some in-your-face kind of coaching. And I'm excited. So thank you. Happy day, happy week, happy month, happy year. Get your formula. This is Carla Michelle, your favorite coach and consultant, signing off. Until next time.